Hello and welcome to The PALLATT, the podcast about language learning and teacher training by International House London. My name is Laura, and in today's episode I'll be speaking to our Head of Marketing Eva about the City of London and why she thinks students should choose to come and study English here. Hello Eva, how are you?
Hi Laura, I'm good thanks. How are you?
So today we're going to be talking about the City of London, which is where you're from originally, is that right?
That's right, yes. Born and brought up here.
So if you had to tell us 3 words to describe London, what would they be and why?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is home. It's home for me. Diverse, that's pretty obvious why. But I'd also say equipping, mainly because you can go there and you can find anything you want in London. It's just, you need to step out of your doorstep and you get what you want. And moving away from London now in my later years, it's becoming more and more apparent of how equipping it is. So I'm in Hertfordshire now, and some things you can't get. So kind of take those things for granted when you're in London.
Perfect. So it was home, diverse, and equipping.
Yeah.
I like it. Brilliant. So what is your favourite time of year in London?
It's a tricky one because I think for me, it's not so much a specific time of year. There's many really, but I think the one thing that I look forward to most is the transitioning of the seasons. And that's mainly because everything changes. So you'd see new things at shop windows for the first time, you know, fresh displays, shop windows, new food offers as well in the shops, like sort of catering for the season. And of course, the fact that everything around you changes, like in terms of colour, like in terms of, you know, nature, trees. And I think the transitioning of the seasons is one that I really enjoy and look forward to.
So with that in mind, London is a city that's famous for having lots of different events happening during the different seasons, lots of different events happening throughout the year. Do you have any London events that you particularly enjoy?
Again, wouldn't pinpoint to one particular event or celebration, but the fact that London acknowledges all celebrations of all races and faiths, and there's always something on, whether it's Chinese New Year, you know, Christmas, Diwali, Eid. It's just somewhere where it's kind of like a hub for me, where you can have a bit of everything. So the fact that London is a city that acknowledges all those celebrations, you know, you can't miss anything. So I like that aspect of London specifically.
Now, London is also famous for being home to lots of different museums. Do you have any museums that you particularly enjoy visiting?
Yeah, I mean, I love the museums because it's just London's sort of the wealth that it holds in terms of history and art. It's really good. You know, I've got 2 kids, and it's so good to take them along and, you know, make the most of that kind of. And obviously, it's all free as well there for you to take. One that particular strikes me and that I like and I enjoy going to is, I don't know if you've heard the Chelsea Harbour show. So it's basically, I'm very much into interiors as well, interior design, aside from marketing. But it's one that I go to just to get inspiration because it's got the best kind of sort of exhibition of interior designers and whatnot. And it's quite a nice place as well to go to. The Chelsea Harbour show.
And earlier on, when we were talking about the 3 words to describe London, you said diverse as one of the words, which leads me nicely onto another question, which is about the food that we have in London. Now, obviously, we know that in London we have such a diverse range of foods. What kind of food do you enjoy eating in London? And do you have any favourite restaurants or any favourite areas of the city where you like to eat out?
I mean, that's an easy one for me, Laura. Curry strikes to mind, only because the curry outside where you eat out in London, it's not the same as the curry that I cook at home. It's very different. It's much better. So yeah, if I'm going out, it will be somewhere in Brick Lane for a bit of curry. It always kind of hits the spot. But yeah, there's so much variety in London, and that's the best thing about London. But for me, London is the best place for curry.
It's a very cool area of the
Oh,
city.
amazing! I think it's just the atmosphere there as well. When you go there, it's not just about the food; it's that kind of whole kind of retro style and sort of vibe that you get there is just electric. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Do you have any other areas of the city that you enjoy visiting, or do you have any famous landmarks that you particularly like, or monuments, buildings?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think one that I love seeing, and every time I see it, it kind of blows my mind. Is probably St Paul's Cathedral. I know it's a bit cliche, and it's not one that strikes out amongst the rest, but for me, I just really appreciate the architecture. It's just something that's plonked in the middle of London that's got a bit of style from various places in Europe, and it's just beautiful. It really is, and it's very iconic, of course, as well. So yeah, that would be a favourite for me.
Yeah, people know it from Mary Poppins as well.
Yeah, I mean the newsreaders have it at the back of their, that's what I remember most. But I think when you see it firsthand and you're in front of
Mm,
it, it really is breathtaking.
It is an amazing piece of architecture, definitely. Aside from architecture, London is also well known for having lots of brilliant parks and lots of nice green spaces. In terms of London's famous parks, do you have any that you particularly like to visit?
I think there's. Can I have two?
Of
Because
course.
there's one that's really close to my heart, and it's because of where I grew up. Regent's Park, obviously, it's sort of well known. It's set in a very central area of London. That's probably one of my favorites in terms of uh, my childhood and whatnot. But I think there's Chiswick House as well. Is another one where the gardens is really, it's in London, but again it's a little bit different. So it's just really nice to walk around, and again there's great architecture there as well to appreciate. So yeah, Chiswick House and Gardens, brilliant.
Eva, tell us, what do you like doing in your free time in the city?
Gosh, that's a hard one. Simply because there's so much you could do, and we don't really plan things. I guess it's just playing it by the ear. You'd walk out the door planning to be somewhere, and then an hour or two later, you're in a totally different place that you had planned to. So yeah, we don't plan. I don't plan my weekends or evenings. I just kind of stroll out with the kids. If there's any one thing that we do like to do is just taking my kids to see the museum. So there's lots of art, whether it's a sculpture or art or dinosaur bones. It's nice to take them to see to the museums, and it's free.
Brilliant. So you were born in London and you lived in London for most of your life until very recently. Do you have any insider tips? So for any students visiting the city, do you have any insider tips about things they should do, places they should go, things to see?
I mean, there's something for everybody. So there's not any one particular thing that you can kind of direct people to. It really depends on what people like and what they want to do. And there's, as I said earlier, equipping is the right word. There's something for everybody, and you'll find whatever you want in London. But in terms of an experience, one that is pretty spectacular. Walk or cycle across London Bridge or any bridge that lights up in the dark in London.
Oh, like Chelsea Bridge. Or Albert Bridge. Yeah.
Albert Bridge. Yeah, yeah. It is. I mean, any time of the year, even in winter, it's just really, really special. And it kind of sticks to your mind, I guess. Well, sticks to my mind, and it never gets old for me. Um, yeah, that's what I would say in terms of have that experience.
And what is your most memorable London moment?
Ooh, um, I guess the Olympics. It's basically one of the biggest sort of platforms on the planet. Uh, the best way to kind of showcase the city when the whole world's watching and all eyes are on the city. Um, the Olympics was a pretty good experience. It was amazing, having all those people sort of gather in London City, from all corners of the planet. Um, yeah, for me, it was the Olympics in London.
Brilliant. And the final question for you today, Eva. Why do you think that students should choose London as a city to go to study English?
Um, Easy because it's my hometown. No, really, I'm not biased here, because I've travelled quite a bit around the world. But it's just one of those cities that you have to experience in a lifetime. Um, have it on the bucket list. It's different from when you're born and brought up in London compared to you visiting London for the first time or several times for a short period of time. You'll get different experiences, but I guess the novelty never wears out no matter how many times you visit London or if you've been here all your life, because there's always something new. There's places which reinvent themselves. So it's definitely a city on the bucket list to do in a lifetime, and that's probably a good enough reason in my books, anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Eva, for chatting to us today and telling us all about your home city. I'm sure lots of students will be taking an interest in your recommendations. So thanks again, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. Bye bye.